Yes, ma'am. I can hear you loud and clear.
What's a Don's Fathom note taker?
I'm trying to do this new app. It like takes. It's basically recording. So it records all my meetings, and then it takes notes. It takes notes and it summarizes them, and like I can like highlight it. So I don't know. We're gonna try it out and see what happens. But
It's your
it's
first time
recording.
using it?
No, I've been using it for my meetings because we have so many remote employees now that like sometimes if we have an important meeting that's like very tedious where with a lot of notes, I'll just literally take the transcript from that, I'll put it onto ChatGPT and it'll give me like a list of shit that they have to do, or that I have to remember. So it's pretty easy.
Oh, nice.
Mhm. We're live, by the way.
Oh,
Yeah, like we're live. Like it's just like always recording. It's kind of annoying. Like today, I had a I had a doctor's appointment like online, and it automatically logs on to their like onto our call. So whether we do
so the
Zoom,
doctor was asking what it was.
yeah. So he was asking me if I should let it in. I was like, no, like just don't let it in. He's trying to spy on
He's
us.
good. He was gonna take notes
Hmm.
on your whole appointment.
Have you tried this flavor of
No,
um
I like the
lollipop?
I like the Coke one, the cherry Coke.
I like that one too, but this one is the best flavor. And I'm not a huge
The
ginger ale
ginger
person,
ale?
but this is the best flavor that I've had, like by
I've
far.
never tried that.
You should try it. I'm literally I can't go back.
I'm gonna get it today at Whole Foods.
You should.
I look like
Um,
I have a mess back here, but it's actually because my dryer is too tiny. So
well, I had to switch my camera from my big monitor to my this monitor because the other monitor faces the other side, and I just like we had people staying over and we haven't cleaned, so this is like my I live in Miami and I'm in an apartment and well we have a guest room but it's also my office when I'm here, and so there's like a bed, so there's just like I mean it's not dirty laundry but it's like a not made.
wait,
But
did your tooth chip?
yeah, I was trying to open a bottle of wine and the tooth chip. So I got, for people that don't know, I got a dog about 4 months ago, and it's a puppy, and it's literally the most stressful thing ever. I thought I
A
wanted kids
big
pretty soon.
puppy.
Yeah, I got a Doberman puppy, and you might be able to hear him because he likes to bark when I'm talking because he hears stuff. But it's made me drink a lot of wine because it's like having a kid. It's a lot of work. But yeah, I was trying to open a wine bottle and I chipped my tooth.
He's bigger than a kid.
He's pretty big. But yeah, that's where we're at. So what do we have on Slate? The Ordonez Method Podcast.
A show for young people by young people, where we dig deep on topics such as business, wealth creation, lifestyle, and more. Our main mission is to educate, inspire, and collaborate with like-minded individuals so we can build a better future.
Hosted by Camilla and Adon Ordonez. Illustrated by Oliver Rice. Today for the listeners.
So, my brother and I actually have not talked in a while. Let's just say life has been really busy. Me personally, I had so many guests the past couple weeks. I had like 6 friends staying with me at once, and then I had like my whole family come last week. And in the middle of that, I had like midterms, so it's just like super hectic. Um, so yeah, we're just kind of catching up. We're gonna talk a little bit about Bitcoin and about like failure because that's been on our minds kind of recently while we're like doing different things on the other sides of the world basically.
Yeah,
But
we've had a big hiatus. Like we haven't posted anything the last couple weeks. I mean, Camilla's been really busy. I've also been really busy with a puppy and just with the different things that we're doing on our business. And I mean, we could talk about that a little bit today, but it's just been kind of a hectic time. And I think there's like a fine line, like between people that are actually influencers and like this is like their full-time job, like doing like a podcast and entertaining and adding value to people. This is almost like something that we do. I mean, it's definitely a side thing. Like we have like real jobs. So I think once you get to a certain level, like when you're really trying to grow your brand, you either have to devote your full time into it, or you need to have a team that's get like fully devoted to it. And Kamal and I just aren't there yet. So
Yeah, we're
we
working
apologize.
on a team. We're
We
working
are.
on a team. We're gonna have a lot more content once I start, getting more into the business and learning more, and that's gonna come with time. But you guys will see the whole process, which would be kind of cool. I'm actually reading like a book right now on like small businesses, which I'm gonna post another. I've been posting on like Fridays, like summaries, but I kind of took a hiatus, but now I'm gonna post again. And it's kind of cool. My mom actually is reading the same book as me, like on accident.
What book is it?
It's called something small business. I'll insert it in the comments or whatever. It's by E Myth. Something
Okay,
about
I've
small
seen that.
business.
I've seen that book laying around. Yeah, you should definitely
Yeah.
post a link to it. Do you
Yeah,
have it
I'll
on
post
you?
a. It's like in my room,
Okay, it's fine.
but it's a really good book. I'll post a link to it. Me and my mom we're reading it on accident at the same time because hers is in Spanish, and we were on vacation last week in Kauai, which is another like Hawaiian island. And she was like, "I'm reading this book, and it's really cool because it's basically telling like our story of the business." And I was like, wait, like she started talking about it, and it's like a different name in Spanish. So I was like, wait, she started talking about it. I was like, wait, I'm reading the same thing. She was like telling the story of like the scenarios that the book was saying. I was like, wait, like that's literally what I'm reading. And it's kind of cool because it's like it goes into like how small businesses like either fail because like 80% of them fail within like the first year, or like how to set up your business so that it's like a franchise like prototype, and you like let's say if you were to replicate that business 100 times, it would work every single time because of the systems and processes. It's kind of cool because right now in our business we're going through that, like putting all the systems in place so that it's not just like a small business anymore, so that if it was replicated it could work. And it's so yeah, I just think it was cool because now I'm seeing like you guys were posting about how yesterday you had a meeting and you're like going through every single little thing in the business. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
no,
really good book.
we literally met, and maybe you can, while I'm talking here, you can you can go get the book.
Oh yeah, I'll go get
So
it.
I it was crazy because the last, well, I noticed that we were missing SOPs. So I've been onboarding a lot of new people. I've been onboarding like I've been hiring people, especially overseas people, and we've grown our team like 25% in the last couple months, just hiring. And it's been really hard because I'm doing a lot of the hiring, and so I'll interview them, I'll hire them, they'll come to work for us, and then I'll have to sit down with them for days, training them on everything. But I was like, if we just have a manual and like a training video for every person that we hire, we can literally just have them talk, or like we can just have them watch the videos and figure out what they need to do for their job. So I finally decided. I got my mom, my dad together, and our other kind of high executive on our team, and we sat down for 3 hours yesterday, and we literally just aired it out. We talked about every single position in the company and what their duties are. So all the way from the person that cleans the office all the way up to the top superintendent that's managing all the construction. And so the reason we did that, it wasn't to talk about it because a lot of us know how the whole business works, but it was literally just to get it out as a transcript, as a voice transcript. We're using the same app. So what I did, literally, right, like I took the transcript, I put it onto ChatGPT, and I started making a list of each what each individual job is within our company and what their activities are. And so from that, we're gonna keep making videos, and we're gonna end up with two things. We're gonna end up with a manual, like a standard operating procedure manual of literally every job, how to do it, what does it entail, how do you move up, how does the hiring process work, and training videos on how to do literally every job. Our What we identified is that a lot of the jobs within our business are not hard. It's literally just reading, writing, and talking. That's really all our businesses. There's only a few people in the company that are actually making big decisions and doing, like math, when when we're estimating deals or budgeting how much it's going to cost, or coding or buying deals, or like actually specified like knowledge work. We don't have that many positions like that. A lot of people are just inputting numbers, talking to people, negotiating, and so all of that can be taught pretty easily. Like anybody, like a tomato can do it.
That's actually so funny because okay, so I have the book now. It's called Why Most Small Businesses Don't Work and What to Do About It, and that's actually like so funny because yesterday I read the chapter that I was reading yesterday. It was talking about how in businesses that work and creating the systems for it, you really don't need to hire a lot of like highly skilled people. You just need to have the systems in place so that you can get like average skilled people, and like you can get the good results from them by just having everything in place for them to succeed. You
Right.
don't need like tons of like highly skilled people that you're paying tons of money, because those people come and go. You just need to have everything in place so that the average people can be put to work.
Yeah, and I mean, really, people are only as good as your training processes. If you don't train them well, they're not gonna know how to do the job. You could get a person from Harvard that knows, that's a civil engineer or that's a superintendent, like a construction management major. You get them in your business, they won't do a good job unless you tell them exactly how to do it, because every single business differs on their processes, and like what, ours is unique. Is different from D.R. Horton, is different from, a luxury home builder. And so you have to get them accustomed to your process. And in order to do that, you need to have a system that's written out and it's thought out. And what we found is that for a lot of these jobs that people that we've hired, we have them doing like random jobs that have nothing to do with each other. And it's just like you kind of realize like how not bad that you're doing, but it's like, okay, how much better we can be if we just you 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 dissect it and you really figure out what jobs people need to be doing and how to do it properly.
Yeah, and I
So
feel like it also makes it easier on whoever owns the business, because they're not wearing all the hats now, and it makes it easier for the employees because a lot of people just want structure and they want to know exactly what they're doing. They don't want to wear like 10 different hats, like if they're getting paid like minimum wage. Like they want to know what they're doing when they're going into work. So yeah, I really recommend this book for anyone like with their own business or wanting to start
send it,
a business.
and yeah, send it. Well, we can put the link out
Yeah, and they
for.
also have like other books. I'm gonna read this one after. It's like on accounting.
Is it the same
Yeah, it's
author,
the same
Gerber,
author,
Michael E.
and
Gerber?
yeah, it's Michael E. Gerber, and
I'm
he has
gonna
a lot of books. So
I'm gonna
this book is just
order those.
really good, and it literally explains everything that we're doing in the business right now. So I just think it's a good refresher for the mind. But
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yeah, I think it sounds pretty good. I'm gonna order like as soon as we get off.
yeah, you
I
me
have
and
an
mom are gonna be
extensive
reading the same book.
I have an extensive library. Our parents really instilled into us like the value of education. So literally now when I see a course that I want to go to, or see a book that I want, even if I'm not gonna read it for a couple of years, I'll literally buy it just so I don't forget. I have hundreds of books.
Yeah, if
Um,
you walk into our parents' house, they have like a huge library, which
um,
is funny.
yeah, pretty extensive. But okay, let's talk about Bitcoin. And I know you don't have that much experience in it. I don't either, but I feel like a lot of people are going crazy. Maybe not so much this week, but definitely last week and the week before. So Bitcoin is like an alternative investment. It's basically it's hard to explain because there's a lot of technology involved with it, but basically it's a form of currency, or like the purpose of it was a form of currency that is immutable, and it's open. It's like an open source currency, so you can go online and you can see, who, if I send Camilla some Bitcoin, you can see it on the chain. And it's governed by the people. So Robert Kiyosaki calls it the people's money because it's not tied to any government bank or anything. It's literally on the blockchain online, and there's developers that are running the chain. There's people with Bitcoin farms that are doing a lot of the Bitcoin, what they call mining. The mining is basically you're solving complex equations on your computer, harder than any math problem that you or I could ever solve. But basically, the computer that gets the equation, right, is rewarded with Bitcoin as part of a transaction. So if I send you some Bitcoin, some mine, Bitcoin mine somewhere is going to mine the block, right? And so they're going to get a little piece, like a transaction piece, because they mine that block. And so there's been like Bitcoin's very volatile because it's there's not really any value in it. There's a lot of value in the blockchain software that it runs on because it's very secure, it's very safe, it's never been hacked. But there's actually like no value. Like I think, and that I mean that's very subjective. Like that's me saying there's no value in it. And some people think there's value in it, but in my opinion, there's no value in it because it's like it is like the people's money. So as soon as people stop trusting it, it's not backed by anybody but the people. So, for a lot of the libertarians, the people that are in like middle and don't like the government, they really seem to vibe with it. And a lot of the people our age that are younger, they seem to vibe with it because they know how to use it better. I had some Bitcoin. So okay, so the reason why we're talking about Bitcoin is because it hit its all-time high last week, the 14th, maybe 2 weeks ago, of 73,737 with 94 cents. So I've been buying Bitcoin for the last 4 or 5 years, and I remember I started buying it when it was like $800, and I wasn't buying it like, you know, I didn't buy it the whole time. I would kind of buy it when it went low, and then I bought it when it was at pretty high. Last time I started, I was buying, it was around 40,000. But I just been accumulating, and not a lot, maybe like $500 a month when it was low. But anyways, I probably had around $30,000 invested into it of my own money, and it was equal to a little bit over 1 Bitcoin. So I sold half of it, and now I mean I pulled out like 60K.
Crazy.
So I took out double my money that I put in, and I still have half of it left. Um, I don't know where it's gonna go, honestly. Like I don't know what the value in it is. I think if the market crashes, it's gonna crash too. I don't think like people value it that much. I think people value it a lot because it has potential to really go high, and it's so volatile. Like me, I could literally one day just make double the money that I had. And I would it would
And
have
there's
been.
only like 21 million, or what is it,
Yeah,
21
so
billion or
So
something
it's so there's like a
Canadian?
finite number of Bitcoin that's gonna be ever be in existence. I'm not sure when the last one will be mined. There's like a timetable for when the last one's gonna come out. So I'm assuming the price is gonna go up then again. Some people say it's gonna go to 1 million. Some people say 100,000. Nobody really knows. But I mean, I guess if you like gambling a little bit, it's like a fun investment. I still don't really see the value in it because, for example, like real estate, you own it and you can live in it, you can see it, you can touch it. Bitcoin's kind of just like the value is literally up to what people value it as. So if people say it's worth nothing, it could potentially go to zero. A house, even if it goes to zero, that's the thing. Every investment, the price of it depends on what people are willing to pay for it. That's a fact. But let's say a house, if it goes to zero, I go bankrupt and I lose everything, I can at least go live in the house. I mean, assuming they don't take it away from me. But there is yeah, there's just something about Bitcoin that I don't quite trust. But I don't know. I'm open to. I have an open mind on it. I still have some. If it goes down a lot, I'll buy some more. But I definitely wouldn't put all my marbles into it. Some people have all their money in it, and it's a little risky. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on Bitcoin? I know you're not really in it, but like from somebody that's not in it, what do you think about it?
It honestly just sounds like a game. Like I was like reading up on it, watching videos, and like the whole thing with like the farms and the mining and like the chains and stuff. It just sounds like a game, but I think personally, if I had the money to put into Bitcoin, maybe I'd put a little bit into it, but I definitely would rather put my money into other investments that have been around for longer and are proven to like work. Like, so yeah, that's my input. I don't know enough really about Bitcoin to like be
Yeah,
talking about it too much,
I
but
was
I
just
think it's
bored.
interesting.
When I
I
first when I first heard about it, I had just gotten a knee surgery and I was just bored because I had nothing. I couldn't walk or anything for a couple weeks. and that's when I first like found out about it. That's when I bought it. I think it was $400
Yeah, I feel like
when I
people who
first saw it.
are more into like tech and like coding and stuff like cryptocurrency a lot more and like are super into it. It's
One
like
thing
a
I will
hobby.
say about it, in that it kind of turned me off because when I tried to sell it was my first time ever trying to sell it because I usually just bought and I held. And you have these third part or like so when you buy Bitcoin, you can put it into a wallet. And most people put it into like their Coinbase wallet or their Kraken wallet, like one of those third party companies that have it. Those companies could go bankrupt at any time and you'll lose all your Bitcoin, right? So what I would do is I would transfer it to an external wallet. I don't have it here with me. It literally looks like a little chip. And you plug it into your computer and it's literally your $1 million could be there stored on that little chip. So you can't lose it. There's a little bit more to it. You can lose it and still recover. There's ways around it, but it's very like manual. But when I tried to sell it, it was pretty tough. And I'm very tech savvy. Like I'm pretty good with tech and computers. And I mean, I consider myself pretty good with it. And it was even kind of complicated and sketchy for me to sell it. Like when I was gonna send it to my bank account, not you don't send it directly to your bank account. You first have to send it to a third party wallet, like Coinbase or something, and then you convert it to dollars, and then you send it to your bank. So it was like a huge process to just get it out. That kind of diminished my thoughts on Bitcoin. Like I don't like it as much now because of how hard it was to sell it
Agreed.
and turn it into cash. It was way harder to sell than any stock or even like send any wire train. Oh yeah, it's just hard to turn it into dollars. There's like it's a process. It's not super tough, but it's unnecessary. But that's what I will say that it's if you're in Bitcoin, you've never sold it, and you try to sell it, then you understand like the hardship that it could be to try to sell it. Um, but I mean, you never know. It's always it's a game. It's fun, and I think people like it because they can make money without doing shit, which
Yeah, it's
is
true.
always nice. But it doesn't work. It doesn't work. You can't make money in the long run by not being valuable. You have to be valuable in some way, and buying and selling something is not very valuable. So that's
True.
close out on that. I think we had one more thing on the slate today that we were gonna talk about. Forget what it
Yeah,
was.
I think you want to talk about failure.
Okay. So I was reading a book and it was talking about failure. I thought that it was a good topic for us to talk about because one thing that I noticed, well, I went to watch my alma mater play a few weeks ago in baseball, and it just kind of brought back some memories. And I realized how big of an sorry, Kami, I realized how big of an advantage athletes that have played like at a higher level where you fail a lot have over just like regular, we call them NARPs, like non-athletic regular people. It's just a huge advantage between us and them. Not to like, I don't want to single anybody out, but I mean anybody
You're like
can.
singling out like most people.
Yeah, I know. But the thing is, you don't have to play a sport. Like you can develop these skills or this framework, like this mindset, even if you don't play sports. But you have to work at it. I think when you play sports at a high level, you're forced to do it, or else you won't play. Like you won't be unless you're like you have a lot of God given talent and you just can wake up and be really good. But I think athletes have such an advantage because they face so much failure. So I see a lot of like my employees or my friends or people that I know, they get so frustrated when they fail and like they almost like want to give up as soon as they fail or they face a hardship. And I think my mentality is like, okay, like I'm expecting some failure in everything that I do, but I know that if I just stay persistent, like I'm gonna get highly rewarded at the end. That comes from playing baseball and failing 8 out of 10 times when you do something. Um, so in business, your success rate is a little bit higher. You're not failing every single. Well, you have little micro failures every single day, and so I think like playing sports like really reinforces that like you'll be okay. You just have to stick with it. I mean,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
was
know.
kind of thinking about that like in a different aspect. I was thinking about that this morning, like about like disciplining like your mind and stuff, and like even if like you're not seeing like immediate results with something, like you have to wait for the long term because I feel like a lot of people are wanting instant gratification for whether it comes to like work, school, fitness even. Like they want immediate gratification, that's not going to happen most ways, and the best results usually come with time. So, yeah, I was kind of thinking about that too, which is funny. I was thinking about that this
Yeah.
morning.
I think
But
I think a lot of people, and it might not even be they're scared of failure, so they don't take action. Like for
yeah,
me, I'll literally do anything. I'll have to stop myself from doing stuff because I'll see something, I'll get an idea, and I'll want to act on it. Because I know that if you have an idea, you have to act on it right away, or else you're never gonna do it. So I'm kind of crazy. I'll be like, have an idea. I'll be like, all right, let's do this. Where do I put the money? Who do I hire? How do I put it together? Whereas I think like most people, that I've been working with, that I know, they'll be apprehensive to it. They'll like analyze it. They'll be like, I don't know, it's too risky, whatever. Um, that's kind of where you get like it's like the risk reward, like since I'm able to take those risks, I might fail epically and lose everything, but I might also have really high results. And I think you can hit a high success rate if you just stick around. So when I was working with the Phillies, my boss at the time, he was like the head of the minor leagues. He said, like, I remember him saying that this phrase. He's like, the most important thing you can do is to be available. Like, just always be available, and you'll always have a job here, and you'll always move up and like be good. And that kind of stuck with me because it's kind of true. Like the people that are always available or that are always like persistent and just stay in there, those are the people that like you're gonna have success in that realm, like over the long term. So yeah, just be available, stay the course. You usually have success. Don't be scared.
yeah, I feel like that definitely is true. I feel like a lot of athletes do learn that. I mean, I didn't play volleyball like in college or anything, but I think that playing at a higher level and like being pushed and like going hard on yourself sometimes in that aspect like definitely teaches you a lot about how to push forward even if like you feel like you've hit like a rut or something.
For sure.
Um
um, yeah. So that's kind of all we had for today. I want to add one little like last piece, and it's just like I know we've been posting. We have this one. I think we try to promote one of our posts, and we got a lot of hate on it. And it's both of us talking. We've talked about it before, but I just think it's funny. It's funny to address it because like everybody's wondering. Well, maybe not. Maybe it's just us because we see it, and we've never really put our shit out like that on social media. So like when we see comments, it's kind of funny to us.
from like random people.
Yeah, so it's just kind of funny. But a lot of people like they're just saying that like you don't know what you're talking about, or I'm contradicting myself, or maybe like some inappropriate stuff with you that
Oh my
shit.
gosh. People are
Yeah.
disgusting with their
Yeah.
comments.
But I mean, my message with that is just we're young, we're still figuring it out. We've probably had more success than most of you. We probably have better mentors than most people listening. And if we don't, then we're probably like-minded because you're probably having a lot of success with what you're doing. So you probably have a lot of the same ideas that we do, and that's probably why you're listening. Um, but we're just people, and I think there's just so much hate out there. Like, why? Like, just take the good from what you learn. I mean, it's not we're spitting straight bullshit. Like, we're not just hopping on here and talking about bullshit. Like, we're talking about things that like are going on in our lives that a lot of other young people are going through. We're talking, maybe to younger people who need some mentorship that don't have a good situation like how we've had. So it's just good to have good vibes, man. I don't understand like why people hate
Yeah.
or
I
say
feel
hateful
like
shit.
my take on that is like everyone's gonna say things out loud that like maybe in a couple years like we won't agree with ourselves, but it's all part of like the process of growing, and we've shared so many times that this is kind of just to teach people that are our age or like just so that they can go through the process with us of growing a business, or if you're starting a business. So I wouldn't take anything that we say too seriously. I mean, my brother definitely knows more than me at this point, but yeah, I'm still learning. As I learn, I'm gonna share what
I think we lost Camilla. If this doesn't